We're learning a sikha about Chag HaShavuos from the sikhas of the Rebbe Chelik Beis. Talks about the giving of the Torah was in the third month. And the first of the Jewish months is Nisan, and then after that is Iyar, and then after that is Sivan. Sivan is the third month. Moving Nikach, so we can understand from this, Shekiyam Kesher Bein, there must be some sort of an attachment between the Torah and the number 3. Why? Because everything, especially matters that are connected to the Torah mitzvahs, is with Hashgacha Pratit. God Himself personally directs everything that happens in the world. Now, everything that happens in the world doesn't necessarily have a practical meaning to us if we don't see it, especially if we don't see it. There must be some meaning to it. And maybe if we were in the Amazon desert and we saw that this particular worm got this particular piece of dirt or something, we would somehow or other be able to understand what it meant. But not everything in the world is directly and vitally important to what we say, but everything, what we do. But nevertheless, everything in the world does have a definite importance in the whole general scheme of everything. And if we see it, it must be some reason that we have that's important to us, even if we know about it. That's general things. But matters of Torah, every detail of the Torah is vitally important to us. The word of Torah means teaching. And the Torah, not only that, is the book from which the world is being created every second brand new. So it must have some sort of a really importance to us every second brand new. So the fact that the Torah was given in the third month of the year, there must be a connection between the number 3 and the Torah. No saf al kach, in addition, nimsa kesher, there's a connection between the third month and Matan Torah. Explicitly, it says, Orion Talesai. There is the rabbi saying the Gemara Shabbat. Over there it talks about the giving of the Torah. It says a triple Torah, Am Talitai, in a triple people, Biyarche Talitai, in the triple month. 3, the Torah is triple. What does it mean? There's Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim. The Torah, that's the written Torah. And then there's that includes like Torah and Tehillim, Mishlei, Shir, etc. Torah, Nevi'im are the prophets. What the prophet said. Yeshaya. I'm sorry. I'm in a mistake. There's the Torah is the 5 books of Moses. And the Nevi'im are all the prophets, starting with Shmuel, etc. And the Ketuvim, that's like Tehillim, and Mishlei and Koheles, Book of Job. Those are the books of the Book of Esther. Those are all part of the Nevi'im, huh? Those are part of the Ketuvim.
But usually when we talk about the Torah, we talk about the
That's different. That's totally different. We're talking about 3 aspects of the written Torah. Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim. It's easier to give a class if you sleep a little bit after Lag BaOmer. That was the whole night over by Rabbi Shimon. So, no excuse. Excuses are not good things, but there we go. Torah Nesba, we have to explain. Ma chashivut miyuchedet. So it says that, the Torah is 3. Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim. The Jewish people are 3. There's the Kohen, Levi, and Yisrael. And the third month is this month, the month of Sivan. Torah, we have to explain Hezber. Ma chashivut. What is the importance of this month, the third month? Harikol tafkirish al Torah. The whole purpose of the Torah is to bring the revelation of God in the world, and God is one. The purpose of the Torah is to make unity, to reveal that everything in the world is not separate, or is certainly not a contradiction to God. It's all part of one big, huge, amazing creation. And it's all one with the Creator. That's the purpose of the Torah. Be'emsu Torah achat. because there's only one Torah. Why is it called a Torah, triple Torah? There's only one Torah. All the prophets, all the writings, that's part of the Torah. If so, Malat the Torah, the whole thing of the Torah is not number 3. The main thing of the Torah is number 1. The Torah expresses the oneness of God and expresses that God has one will, and that's the Torah. Right? All these other religions and things like that, right? They're just not right. It's not so. Hakushi ma'amik yoter le'ora devorim lahalan. The difficulty is even more. What's this big thing in number 3? Hakesher bein Torah bein chodesh shlishi. The connection between the 3rd month is mainly in the Torah, like the rabbis say, orin talitai b'yarchet talitai. Like it says, a triple Torah and the triple month. Be'ilu chiluk mi'amitzvahs, but the commandments kayamot od lifnei matan Torah. There were a lot of commandments that were there before the Torah was given. Mitzvahs b'nei Noach. It says that the 7 Noahide commandments, that was given to Abraham or to Adam. Some say that 7 were given to Adam, and then Noach just tried that. Some say that 6 were given to Adam. That's what the Rambam says, and 7th was given to Noah. But in any case, Noah was way before the giving of the Torah. There's also the commandment of Milah. That was what the covenant between the Jews and God was, the circumcision. That was 400 years something before the Torah was given.
Also seems to be a problem with that. When we talk about 3 sections.
Just one more thing. Mitzvahs shenitztavu b'mara. There were commandments which God gave to the Jewish people at Mara. It says He gave them paraduma, gave them Shabbat. Nachon, it's true. She'ein chashivus shel mitzvahs elu doma lechashivus an lachar achar shenidna b'Sinai. It's true that all these commandments that were given before Mount Sinai, that the Jews were doing, and they were repeated at Sinai, when they were repeated at Sinai, they have a totally different meaning and importance. For instance, nowadays we circumcise our children not because God commanded it to Abraham. We mention that God commanded it to Abraham, but the reason we do the commandment is because it says in Parshas, what is it, Parshas Tazria, Yom HaShemini Yomol Basar Alato. It says at the 8th day you should circumcise your children. So that the commandments that were given before Matan Torah, they were done, but they weren't done with the same authority of God as it was after Matan Torah. Let's just finish this. But the commandments of the commandment, the fact of commandments in general were there before Matan Torah. True, the commandments weren't exactly the same thing, but there were commandments before Matan Torah, and the main thing of the Torah is to give the commandments. Is Matan Torah. So the main thing of the Torah is on the 3rd month. Why is that so great? I mean, the Jews knew about the commandments before. Even more, like we learned in the Mimer in the morning, Abraham knew the whole Torah before it was given. We'll talk about that. The Rebbe doesn't ask that question about Abraham. So how is the Torah any different than the commandments? The Fisha Muzbar Batanya, like it explains in the Tanya, Perek Kaf Gimel. By means of the mitzvahs, a person becomes a vehicle for godliness. Like it says, a vehicle, it is negated to the will of the driver. But the commandments don't unify you totally with the commander, with the driver, or the commandments with the commander. When a person, you do a commandment, the commandment is always something separate from you. You're taking something, a physical thing, and you are doing it. Even if it's a commandment of loving God, you're doing it with your heart. You're loving God. There's only one commandment which totally unifies with you, and that is learning Torah. Lefizeh, according to this, goveret ihavana. When a person learns the Torah, is completely united with God. United, one. According to this, now we really don't understand it. The main thing of the Torah is one, unity. If so, why is the connection of the Torah connected to number 3? By means of the Torah, you can unite, make everything one with the Creator. Why is the Torah connected so specially to the number 3? Okay, Beit. You with me, Herschel? You had a question?
Yeah. Talking about 3. Talking about the Torah, the prophets, the writings. Big. Talking about the Jewish people. The
Cohen, Levi, Israel.
Big. 3, third month. That's significant.
Okay, that's what he's saying. But the reason it was given in the 3rd month, because number 3 is important. So we make everything has to be number 3. Right? What do they say in America? My lucky number.
The stars to line.
Yeah, my lucky number. I want to buy the 50th car that comes off of the line because I'm 50 years old. I want to live on the 50th floor of the.
At the end of the day, big deal.
Right. Oh, so the Rebbe, that's exactly the point. What is the big deal at number 3? Right. Okay. So the Rebbe says, first of all, number 1, it must have some importance, but it's not so easy to figure out what's so important about the 3rd month. Not only that, if there is already important months, so why number 3? Why the 3rd month? It should be the 1st month. So no, you don't understand. The Torah is a triple Torah. Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim. That's why, because Torah is number 3. So that's even bigger question. The Torah is not number 3. The Torah is 1. The whole essence of the Torah is oneness. Why do you try to pick out one little detail of the Torah that's not really the main thing of the Torah? The main thing of the Torah is number 1. And because of that very side, seemingly accidental fact that takes away, that detracts from the real essence of the Torah, which is oneness. The Torah is number 3. Because of that detracting fact, you're going to detract it even more and give the Torah number 3, the 3rd month. Doesn't make any sense. So the Torah is going to say, don't worry about it. The essence of the Torah is number 3. I'm going to show you how. Beit. Ahezber lakach hi. Nachon amnam, it is true. Shematara yachtut imabora. That we have to unify with the creation Torah. Achdut. And we should not be something separate from God. Chas v'sholom. But this achdut omeret b'mivchan rak b'shah sheshoreret yediyah shel kiyum mitzius nosefes. The only time you know if you really have expressed the true oneness of God is if there is something else. Some possibility of another opposing force. Kisha'adam eino yodea. If a person does not know, al kiyum mitzius nosefes, if he doesn't know about anything else, eina achdut shalosh lema, that's not complete unity. Shchen mi yodea ma yeh ito b'shah shivada al kiyum mitzius acheres. What's going to be when he knows that there's something else? Here you have, for instance, Eastern religions, wonderful ideas, tremendous. People flock over there in order to leave the folly of this world, to unite with the oneness of whatever spirituality. Good. But what do these people have to do? They have to go over there and they sit and they look at their navel or whatever it is, and they meditate for a year, for 2 years, for 10 years, for 20 years. You meditate to the point where you can forget about the world. That's the main thing, you forget about the world. And then when you come back, you can have your time of the day where you totally forget about the world. That's it. And the rest of the time you can work and you can do whatever you want to. But the main thing is forgetting about the world. You have to have your time where you can meditate or you can do whatever you want to, and you're out of the world. There is no world. There is no world. In Judaism, you might say, okay, the same thing. We also have prayer and you have a synagogue where you go to and you put. But the purpose of Judaism is meditating outside of the world, in the world, so that the world doesn't pull you down, but that you do have a positive effect on the world. The essence of the Torah is that there is a world. That's the essence of the Torah. And there is a world that has to be fixed up. That's the essence of the Torah. But let's start off simply. The Torah has to have, it's not good enough number 1. Because number 1, so you're united with God. But as soon as there's a world, there's something else. things fall apart. When do we see that clearly? Tragically, the giving of the Torah. God gave the Torah. He revealed his oneness. Everybody's souls jumped out of their bodies. They all said, we'll do whatever you say, God. And as soon as the world started to work on them, then all of a sudden they forgot the oneness of God. They left back at Mount Sinai. Right? And when the world started beckoning them, they couldn't withhold. They didn't know what to do. Yadua Hari, it's known a mashal, Lagabi Yeridas Neshama Lamata, regarding the soul coming down into the world. Kish Rotzim La'at La'amid B'mivchan et nemenato. When you want to test the faithfulness, the kashuto, and the attachment of the king's son to the king. Motzim oto mehechel hamelech, you take him out from the palace of the king. Umagalim oto umarcharkimo el beit anashim shvelin. They put him in exile and put him into the house of low people. What's this going on? A king. Once upon a time there was a king, great king, and he had a son. And the king knew one day he was not going to live forever. One day he was going to pass away. And the king loved his kingdom more than anything else and his subjects with a tremendous love. And he wanted them to benefit. And he wanted to know if his son would be a good leader or not. He wanted to know if his son would be a good leader. He was going to pass away. Maybe his son was just lying to him, being nice. As soon as his son got into being a leader, maybe he would be cruel and he would be ruthless and he would be, what do they call it, the debauched and etc. So, what does the king do? He figures out what he's going to do. He sends his son away and puts him in a faraway place where his son is sure that the king is not going to hear about him. And he puts his son by simple people and doesn't tell anybody over there that it's his son. And he tells his son he's sending him over there to learn at the university or something, whatever it is. And the son, meanwhile, he's with these simple people. Now let's see how the son acts after a month, after a couple months, right? After 3 months. Like you take the best kids in class. The best kids in class. They put them all in one class. The best genius kids. And the teacher goes away, leaves all the kids alone. A day, 2 days, 10 days. They tell the kids, listen, the teacher won't be here for a month. Everybody comes every day. But you can do what you want to. No, at the end of the time, even the best kids, somebody's going to throw a spitball. Somebody's going to kick somebody else. Somebody's going to get a wise idea. Somebody's going to do, right? They won't be able to withstand the freedom, the chance, the temptations. So it's the same exact thing. Why there has to be a number two. Herschel, maybe, you do it, that's right. So it says, only when there is, when a person acts properly, under stress, under temptation, under confusion, then mitbarer, you know, shehu kashur be'emet, is really attached to his father, the king. And when the king is there to say he's loyal to the king is no big deal. But when he's far away from the king, and the king is not there, that he still remains loyal to the king, so his father knows that this is a genuine king. This is his father. The son has what it takes. Kain adavar, so it is in front of us. When a person comes with magan mishnios, when a person comes in contact with something other than himself, vinid kalba mitzios menugedes, and he comes in a contact with someone or something that opposes him. Ein adavar mafriya la'achto shelo. And what he sees does not disturb his oneness. Azai mitparer shu muchad be'emet im abora. Then you can see he's really united with the Creator. Shtei tzurot shel. In other words, that if a Jew, when he's in the world, can still act like a Jew, this is what God wants. But if there was the famous saying, a Jew in your house and a man in the street. Yehudi bebeitecha va'adam betzeitecha. Because when you're in your house and there's no difficulties, then act like a Jew. But as soon as you go out in the street, give in. Surrender. Right? Take off your beard, take off your kippah, take off your tzitzis. Shtei tzurot ha'achdut shlemot zu. Bittul hametziut hamenugeret. There's two ways to deal with the world. Totally negate it. Don't pay any attention to the world. That good, that works. Another one is Hefichat HaMetziut Atzmo L'Kli L'Achdut. Transforming the world to a vessel for God's oneness. In other words, the Jewish people can be one of two things. Either they can be isolated totally, and not let any of the bad influences of the world come in contact with them. And if they do come in contact, just totally ignore them, which is certainly not a bad idea, because at least then there's Jews in the world and there's Judaism. The only problem is that that's not the purpose of Judaism. It's like buying a new car and never putting it into first gear, letting the clutch out.
What we're talking about is like Jews who live in a self-imposed ghetto.
Yes, but also his attitude when he's in the street also. His attitude when he's in the street. In other words, you keep your distance, I'll keep my distance. Right? Judaism is not, when you want to call it, proactive. Let's put it in another way. Every religion in the world thinks their religion is best. That's why they have their religions. Every religion in the world thinks that their religion is the best. Right? This one, they're willing to get along with other religions. Not necessarily do they want to destroy all the other religions, but they would like it if everybody would be like their religion. Their religion is the best. The only exception is Jews. Jews, ask a Jew, what's good about Judaism? I have no idea. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. It's nothing. Right? What's wrong? The Jews, they have a message to the world. Yes, we have a message to the world. Buy at Blooming's clothing store. Right? What's the message? You have a message about Judaism. You have a message for the Jews? Yeah, leave us alone. That's really the message of Judaism. What is the message of Judaism to the world? Have they got a message? The message is, yes, we have a message. God is one. God creates everything. God creates you. Do the 7 Noahide commandments. But Jews don't say that. Jews don't say that. Why don't they say it? Because either they don't know it or because they're afraid of it. Even a religious Jew, he's afraid to tell a non-Jew, listen, you don't want to know what really Judaism is? You don't want to know what the oneness of God is? That's the purpose of Judaism. That's what Abraham was, the first Jew. Av Hamon Goyim, the father of all the nations. That's the way it was supposed to be. We say it on Leinu every day. Yakiru v'yeru kol yoshvei tevel. The whole world will know. Let's just do this. One more, and then we'll ask. Ha'achdut shebetzura shniya. There's another way of dealing with the world. One way is to ignore it. There's 3 ways. One way is to surrender to it. Another way is to ignore the world, not let the world have a bad effect on you. Right? A third way is that you have an effect on the world. Of course you have to not let the world have an effect on you. The Rebbe was so against bringing televisions into the homes, right? Because it has a bad effect. The people have a bad effect. But that's the good. You shouldn't do bad things, for sure. Have the world. But that's not the purpose of Judaism, is just to keep away from bad. The purpose of Judaism is to do good, transforming the world into a vessel for the oneness of God. Fixing the television, like they say. You fix the television, all of a sudden you realize the room is filled with television waves, all sorts of programs. Right? You didn't know it. Fixed up the world, you realize the whole world is filled with godliness. Ha'achdus shebetzura shniya, the oneness which is created by the second way, he amuka yoter, it's much deeper. Shekein I chashvut b'metziut menugeret, because if you don't reckon at all with any opposite existence, mashira adayan et hametziut makomo, it leaves the world as it is. You didn't have an effect. Ve'ilu netilat hametziut v'hafichat alakli be'alakut, but transforming it, this makes a true unity to the world, so that the world is not something separate from. It's like a teacher coming into class and not teaching the kids. Being a nice guy, everybody likes him. But you have a job. You're supposed to teach the kids. Oh, well, the kids didn't have any bad effect on me. They didn't have but that's very good. They didn't have a bad effect on you. I didn't get angry at them. And, I came home happy. But you have a job. You're supposed to teach the kids. No, but if I do that, there's kids that don't want to learn. There's kids at different levels. And there's kids that's too much trouble. That's ridiculous. Right? A person buys a brand new car, and he never puts it into gear, and he turns it on once in a while, revs it up, and goes it up. But the purpose is you're supposed to drive somewhere with the car. To wreck up the tires, Who knows? There might be an accident. I heard about a person who got in an accident. There's other cars out there. There's other cars out there, and I am not going to go. Why should I add? Why should I be one of them? There's enough troubles as there are. So that's ridiculous. The purpose of the car has a purpose. The purpose is to take you somewhere. It's true that there are dangers involved, but that's the purpose of. Same thing. Judaism. Judaism has a purpose. The purpose is to improve the whole entire world. You want to just leave it as it is, be a nice guy with the kids and make everybody friends with you. It's very nice. Now you want to just rev up the car and it saves money on gas. But that's not Judaism. Right? The whole purpose of Judaism is to make the whole world realize that God is creating them, that God loves them. He's providing for them. Gimel. Maybe if you, are you listening to somebody else? You're listening to
I'm on hold.
Ah.
I lost my banking card. I have to close off the card and get a new one.
Shlosha sugim hamenuyim ba'achdut mitbatim b'mechutam shel shlosha chadashim. 3 types that we talked about of unity we can see expressed in the 3 months Nisan, Iyar, Sivan. The month of Nisan. The month of Nisan is number 1. In Nisan, the Jews went out of Egypt. Nigla Le'am Melech Malcham Levakodesh Baruch Hu. The King of Kings revealed himself to them. He was revealed without any connection to the world. They ran out from Egypt. The month of Iyar. The month of Iyar is the 2nd month. The 2nd month, we do the mitzvah of Sfirat HaOmer, counting the Omer, which means what? Purifying yourself, refining your natural desires, working with something other than just God, but not transforming it to godliness. And there's no transformation here. There's just fixing yourself up a little bit, right? Like taking the car and working on it. Tavar Zeh Ramuz Gam, also the name of the month. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rachel. Iyar, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rachel. These are what's called the 4 feet of the chariot. A chariot is totally surrendered and unified with the driver. But it's not totally. It's not the same thing as total. It's a vehicle for the will of the driver. The month of Sivan, that's true unity. The Chodesh of Matan Torah, this is the 3rd month. This unifies the upper worlds and the lower worlds to a new existence. A new thing, a 3rd thing, which is higher than both of them, uniting all opposites. So we have the 1st month is Nisan, where God reveals His oneness in the world. But it doesn't have any effect on the world. Just the Jews leave Egypt. They leave the bad things. The month of Iyar, the Jews start to fix themselves up a little bit. They make themselves vessels for God's oneness, but not unified yet. God does not reveal His true oneness in the world. And the month of Sivan, God reveals Himself in the world, the physical world. And that's number 3. It makes 3 into 1. Ooh, making 3 into 1 is much higher than making 1 into 1. Let's just do this, the 2 more. Mishum Kach, because of the Torah was given in the 3rd month. Because the Ikar Mahuta of the Torah is unification. Not just oneness, but unification of opposites. When a person does a commandment, the person true, he puts himself aside for the sake of the mitzvah, but he's not unified with the commandment. You're not unified with those tefillin or with the mezuzah. But my Torah, the Torah completely unifies with you. Your thoughts become God's thoughts. 5th chapter of the Tanya. The unification, which is by means of the Torah, the true unification that God wants is number 3. Therefore, God revealed His Torah in the physical world. Mizug, this is a unification of the mind of a person with the mind of God, so to speak. It makes a new thing, everything becomes one. A new existence. The whole entire world, through the Jews, becomes part of Hashem. It reveals that it's just a part of Hashem, of God. Therefore it says, Moshe Kibul Torah Misinai. The commandments were given earlier at Mara. Did I skip this line? The unification by means of the Torah is number 3. Unification of that's what we did, this of the mind of a person with the mind of God in the physical world. It becomes a new thing. Therefore, Moshe received the Torah from Sinai. The commandments were given at Mara before that, but the Torah, which is unification, true, your thoughts become God's thoughts in this physical world, because even though the whole thing of Sinai was unifying all opposites, because the whole thing of Matan Torah itself, the Mount Sinai itself unified two opposites. It's a mountain, but it's lowest. The unification of the highest with the lowest. Remember we learned that in the Sikha before. Therefore the Torah was given in the 3rd month to show that we are in this world in order to unify 3 things together. Hashem, us, and the world, to reveal that God is one and His name is one. And we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow.